Hello. Um, we are here. I think. Let's see. Hope everyone. Maybe we should wait another 2 minutes to start, just to make sure that everyone that has signed up. I know that we had quite a few people signed up for it, and I also don't want to delay too much. But let's just wait another minute. Um, let's see. All right. Let's go. All right. I hope the screen is clear. I hope everyone can see everything. And we are going to continue on with our educational series. And, I am Kamylla here with Opulent, and I am part of our digital consultant team. Today is our third episode. We're going to be reviewing the digital workflow for your in-house lab work, and I have Enzo as my coworker and partner in this series, and together we're going to be showing you a little bit more of what does that look like for you.
All right. So, like Camilla said, my name is Enzo. I'm happy to see everyone here. I just see you, Camilla, but I'm guessing everyone, I'm seeing everyone as well. Um, this is an educational series. We're talking about the digital workflow in general. We don't know how many episodes we have left. We hope a lot, but let's get into it. My name is Enzo. I'm at Camilla's team. We are both, let's make it easier for everyone. We're both sales reps here, both sales reps, and we help a little bit with the integration of the digital system on your lab or on your clinic.
That's right. So, like I said, we are here to guide you through the digital workflow from A to Z, starting with scanning, designing, manufacturing, and the delivery. And what we have actually shown you so far is where do we start? Where do we go from here? We have seen is that we always start with the prep, right? That's basics. Then we transition from a physical impression, analog impression, to an digital impression. And for that, we do need an intraoral scanner or a desktop scanner. So that's what we covered last week. And what we're covering today is the next step, and that is designing versus our physical wax up. So in order for us to start off with a digital impression, we needed a desktop scanner and an intraoral scanner. And then next,
Then we have to start talking about CAD. CAD, just so you guys know, it stands for Computer Assisted Design. It comes from engineering. And that's the application when it comes to the dental industry, right? Why do we have to think about CAD? Why is it probably one of the most important decisions you're going to make when it comes to integrating a digital workflow in your lab on your office in your office? So if you think about it, and you can ask anyone that has experience with one software, another software, the design software is pretty much the language that you're going to speak inside the digital workflow, right? So I'm going to name the two most common ones. So you're probably either be going with exocad or 3shape. Those are the two, um, let's say, the biggest brands out there. And if you find variants of those two, they're probably based in one of those two, right? And again, this is the language that you're going to use. This is the language that you're going to communicate with your dentist, or if your dentist is the language that that you're going to communicate with your patient and with your lab, right? And it is so important that you understand really well what to consider and understand really well what are your options, that even us as Opulent not selling 3shape, we're going to be talking about it here because we want you guys to have all the tools so you make the right decision. Because again, this is the foundation of your digital workflow. This is what's going to set the rhythm for your workflow later on.
that's right. So what we have put together here is a few points And what we're going to cover today is a guide through what should I be looking into if I am thinking about investing in a dental software. Right, today we're going to cover the basis of like what is the research, what are the features that I should be looking into, and one of the first ones that you should be looking into is the functionality of the software. Is the software offering, virtual articulator, a tooth library? What is the integration like for that software with my intraoral scanner, or with the CAM software that I want to use or eventually want to partner up with? How easy is that interface to be used? You're either training yourself or your staff. What if my staff leaves and I have to retrain someone, right? Is that workflow smooth? Is it intuitive? Is it easy to use? Is it easy to learn? Third, compatibility and integration. Is this an open system? Can I actually integrate it with the intraoral scanner or desktop scanner that I already have? How easy is it to send it to the manufacturing, whether it is a 3D printer or a milling machine? Does that work with equipment that I currently have, or intend to have in a couple months or a year from now? Is it future proof? Because I think the one thing about a dental software, design software, and digital is that you've got to be partnering up with a company that is constantly changing and moving and constantly providing you with all the tools and features that you need to continue to grow, right? You've got to look at the background of this company, where they started, where they're at, and where they're headed. Fourth, training and support. To me, that's the number one thing that you should actually be on the top of the list. What are the training resources that the manufacturer is offering me? Are they offering tutorials? I would go on YouTube because there's just so many content out there. For most of the time, the tutorials, the training provided by the manufacturer will be online. But then what you see next is that the support and the training that you'll be getting is through the vendor. And that's something that you actually have to dive into and do your research and diligence on looking into what you're partnering up with.
Right. So, picking up from what Camilla said on the support side, right? Again, we can't stress this enough. This is probably the most important. And if you're going to think about just one thing, think about the support you're going to get when you buy your design software, right? At the end of the day, if you buy Exocad or if you buy 3Shape, they are both great softwares. There is a 99.9% sure that both of them can do pretty much everything that you want to do, right? But you can have any software you want. If you don't have someone to teach you, or if you don't have someone to support you when you have an issue, that software is not good for nothing. You're not going to make anything out of it, right? So keep in mind and be really careful where you're buying your software from, right? Look at the company you're buying from. Look, ask, and you can Google that. Are they official resellers? Because there are probably, I don't know, 1,000 different ways that you can buy a dongle today. But are they official ways? When you have a problem, is that person or is that company going to be able to support you or not? Because as official resellers, we have the obligation to support you. It's a different thing, right? Another thing, security and compliance. Why are we talking about the two biggest names out there? Because we know for sure that they cover that, right? We're not going to get into the details of what are the data securities, what is the compliance, what is everything, but we are safe to say that those two, either Exocad or 3Shape, you can rest. I don't know. In Portuguese, we have a saying that you can lay down in peace and not worry about that. I
Rest
don't
in
know.
peace. Yes.
Rest, yeah, but rest in peace is a little bit weird. Number seven, also as important, probably the second most important one, to be honest, is the cost and ROI. We are all here part of a business. Some here should might be business owners, some here might be employees, but at the end of the day, we got to make money out of it, right? If it wasn't to make money, we wouldn't be making the investments at first, right? So consider the cost of the software, consider the licensing fees, because pretty much every software is going to have some way or another a licensing fee. Some, I don't know, some might be monthly, some might be yearly, but be assured that you are going to have a periodic fee that you're going to pay, right? What's the upgrade, or what are the ongoing subscriptions that you're going to pay? And just on top of that upgrade and on the ongoing subscriptions, Camilla mentioned a little bit, look for the companies that are breaking the boundaries on the market. So look for the companies that are innovating the most. Why? Because again, it's the language that you're speaking inside your lab or your office. So you got to choose the language that's going to be the language of the future as well, right? And number eight is where you guys are way better than we are, because we are going to, of course, try to sell you what we want. So we want to sell you Exocad, but you also have 3Shape, which is a great option. Ask your friends, ask your partners, ask your colleagues, ask different labs, ask different doctors, what are the experience, what are their experience, did they have good experience, did they have not? There are probably a million different forums online that you can go and just ask what is the which one it works best for this or that. So you got to do your job. And again, the where is the CAD trend going, this is pretty much where I said, what is the company that is innovating the most, that is breaking the boundaries, that is creating what's going to be the standard in 2, 3, 4, 5 years? I think that's an honest question that you should ask.
True. And what I actually recommend is that we put it like a little bit of a chart here of a comparison factors. I would actually recommend that you do that as you go through your research, right? And here we're comparing just exocad and 3Shape. And as you are going through it, make notes so you can cross things that are important to you and they're not. Things like the user interface. In this case, for both 3Shape and exocad, they both have a clean and very intuitive navigation. They're both, able to output STL files, which then provides you with flexibility and the free choice of which CAM and manufacturing process do you want to partner with. Functionality. Whether it is 3Shape, 3Shape offers you a guide from A to Z. Like it walks the customer, the user, very closely through the whole designing process. Whereas with ExoCAD, it offers you the most flexibility and freedom and the opportunity to try things out on yourself, on your own. So 3Shape is a little bit more restricted here. CAD features. In this case, they're both, systems that offer very similar content. The structure of the modules are a little bit different. So you see that the names and how they structure the modules, they are differently. 3Shape combines them and ExoCAD actually has them individually. But at the end, they offer the same, like a very similar, structure. CAM features. In this case, they're both actually open and they can both be connected and integrated with the CAM software integration. ExoCAD is fully open and it offers you, a lot of options to customize, whether it is and integrate, whether it is with your intraoral scanner, with your CAM software, a 3D printer. So it is a very flexible and open system. 3Shape is also possible. With 3Shape, it is also possible to integrate. However, it is not as seamless. You might have a few more clicks, a few more steps. So these are things that you've got to be considering. How customizable is it? They're both customizable as far as, what kind of restoration do I want to make? Do I want to start off with crown and bridge and then eventually add implants? Do they offer libraries, TOOF libraries? ExoCAD offers a very big range of libraries, maybe implant libraries as well. So in this case, they're very comparable. Um, And then next thing will be training and support, which we talk so much about it. And I would bring this up on the on the top of our list. And the reason is because your experience at the end with the software is going to depend solely on the training and the support. So in the very beginning, whether you're learning or you're teaching your staff, you're going to need someone to walk your hand, to walk and hold your hands and walk with, teach you how to walk. So until you're self-sufficient, you need to partner up with a vendor that is reliable and that offers you not just the beginner CAD/CAM training, but tools and advanced ongoing training that as you grow, you have the training that you need to continue to grow and continue to learn. And in this case, for both ExoCAD and 3Shape, they are sold through resellers. So your experience with the software doesn't really, depend on the software itself, on the manufacturer, but on who you're partnering up with, who the vendor and the training that is behind the sale. So that's very important. Last but not least, price. You've got to look into the prices. You got to look into the overall picture, not just the upfront fee, but like Enzo said before, your yearly fees, right? What are my subscription fees? What are my upgrade fees? With ExoCAD, there are two options: the Flex and the Perpetual. With the Flex option, it is a lower cost upfront, but the annual fees for your upgrades and more bonuses added to that, it is a higher annual fee, but your upgrades are for free, right? The Perpetual, it is a higher upfront. Your annual fee for your upgrades and support is lower. And if, for instance, you missed a payment or two, you can continue to use your software, but if you need to update and support, there's always an option to bring you up to date. Whereas with 3Shape, they're very structured and clear with their payments. In the past, they used to be only a subscription form where your service would get shut off. I've heard that changed. I'm not 100% familiar with how exactly it is structured today, but do your research, look into it, and just make sure that whatever you end up choosing, you are aware of all the fees that comes with it.
Now let's talk a little bit about how the pricing works on ExoCAD. Okay. Now we're going to talk only about ExoCAD because that's what we sell, right? How does ExoCAD work? And again, you have to think one, training support, and two, think about the future. Think about what you're not what you need to do today, not what the cases you have this week. Think on what do you want your lab or what do you want your clinic to be doing 2, 3, 4 years from now. Why? First of all, because you have to think long term, you're probably going to have a big investment. So you have to take the ROI over time. But to be really pragmatic, when you're going to buy Exocad, you have two ways. You can buy Exocad in bundles or you can buy Exocad in modules, right? What is that? So this is pretty much how it works. We're talking here only about the perpetual, the last one Camilla described, right? So you have four types of bundles. You have the core lab version, which is pretty much for basic crown and bridge. You have the advanced lab bundle, which has a couple more features. You have the implant lab bundle, where you can guess what it was designed for, and you have the ultimate lab bundle, which contains pretty much everything, right? And what we want to compare with you is the cost of buying the full bundle with the cost all the way down to the bottom here of buying each module individually, right? Why am I saying that? Let's say you buy just the core version today because you said, no, I'm just a small lab, or I'm just a basic clinic, I'm doing just ground and bridge. And yeah, that's what you do for 2, 3, 4 months, right? But on the fifth month, you decide you receive an implant case and you want to do it digitally. Okay, so now you're going to buy the implant module. So you bought a 5,000 license at first. Now you're going to add 2,000 on it. So now that I have an implant module, I also want to print my models. I want to test my models. I want to test my cases on the models. So okay, that's another 2,400. And now, a couple weeks from there, you receive a denture case that you want to do it a digital denture. So okay, that's 2,500 more, and so on and so on and so on. So to be honest with you guys, I truly believe in less than a year and a half, maybe 2 years, you are gonna find reasons to use pretty much all of the features here. You are gonna receive those cases. So you might as well think about going for the bigger bundle at first, because on the long term, for sure, you're gonna save money, right? Just I'm just gonna name the numbers here. So if you buy the Ultimate Lab bundle, it's gonna cost you 12,000, right? There are some discounts out there, but just take the 12,000 number. If you buy each module individually, you're spending 25,000. That's more than double what you would have spent. So that's why you got to think long term. Not
Mhm.
what you want to do today, but what you want to be doing 2, 3 years from now.
That's right. And just to kind of like summarize, what are the questions that you should be asking yourself before you're committing to this specifically designed software that you have now chosen, right? What type of restorations will I be doing now and in the future? Like Enzo said, we've got to be thinking ahead. We've got to be thinking of the future, the long term. Because if you want to be saving and if your vision is to continue to grow, you might as well invest a little bit more now because you'll be saving. Your cost is just going to be way more efficient at the end of the day. Um, what what does it work? Does this design software work with my current workflow? Maybe you already have an intraoral scanner or a desktop scanner. How easy is it to integrate? Maybe in the future, I want to get a 3D printer. I want to get a milling machine. Is it easy to integrate with that CAM software? Or maybe, you know what, like to me, I do want to keep and stay within that ecosystem. So I don't want an open system. So you've got to also think of all of the options. Um, what is the workflow that you have currently, and what is your vision for the workflow that you want to have in the future, so that you're not stuck with the software that won't allow you to continue to grow. And then the next question is, what kind of support and training am I getting? Because we go back to this point every time. It is your experience with the software is based on the training and the customer support that you get. Until you are self-sufficient, you're going to rely on the training and on the support. And you want to have continued educational training. You want to continue to grow and utilize all the features and the capability of that software. So make sure that the vendor that you choose is providing you all of that. Last but not least, what's my budget? Can I invest a little bit more and be saving on the long term? Or maybe no, I'm like, I really can't make that investment today. I really want to start off with the basics, and maybe my bread and butter, like it is really crawling bridge. I don't need any other modules, right? So these are questions that you should be asking yourself, so that you can come up with a conclusion and make the right choice that is the best for you.
All right. So let's go back and let's compare a little bit because we got to talk about the advantages, right? We know that digital, I'm not even going to say is the future. It's almost the standard right now. I honestly don't see a lot of labs that are not at least thinking about going digital, right? But what are the specific benefits or advantages of digital designing? I'm gonna try not to be too specific into the too broad into the whole digital workflow, right? But first of all, digital design versus conventional, like, and this goes along with the second one, turnaround times. Manual wax up versus digital design. We've been mentioning this pretty much every episode, but there are services today for a full arch that they promise a design in up to 2 hours. So you scan the case and you have a full arch design ready for try-in. It's probably not going to be the final one in under 2 hours. Now compare that with a manual wax up of a full arch restoration, right? It's not even comparable. And when you start to put volume on that, the difference start to get even wider and wider and wider, right? Number two, seamless collaboration between dentists and technicians. Again, I'm going to focus a lot on the design software. Think about it this way, and this goes with the one, two, three, the fourth item there, real item collaboration versus on-site appointment. Imagine that you have a 3D file designed, your case is already designed, you have a facial scan of the patient, and you can give a really, really good preview of what the final case is going to look like with on the patient's mouth in a matter of, I don't know, 2 3 4 hours, and you can discuss that in real time with the dentist and sometimes real time with the patient there. So this seamless collaboration is just exchange of files. It's just like sending a picture or sending a movie. You send an XML, the doctor can open the case, look at the case, give you feedback, or if you are the doctor, you can give feedback to your technician, you can talk to the patient, and you can discuss that on real time, right? Let's think about how you would have done that if you were totally traditional, totally analog. You would have probably have to schedule an appointment with the patient and with the technician, right? The technician, if you are not a doctor that has an in-house lab, you would have probably have to schedule 2 3 days from now, best case scenario. You as a technician, you would have to leave everything that you were doing to spend at least a morning there, because we know it never takes less than 2 3 hours, something like that, to go back and forth. So you would have wasted a morning of work to do something that you can do in 30 45 minutes if you had digital, right? Again, this is what comes down to the very last one: improved patient experience. We are here to make money. Yes, we're here to make money. We are here because we like what we do. Yes, we're here because we like what we do. But at the end of the day, the everyone's boss is the final patient, right? Because the final patient is going to tell the doctor if they liked or not the restoration, and that's what the doctor is going to say to you as a lab. So we have to focus on the patient experience, and if we can give an experience of 48 hours instead of 2 months or instead of a month, of course is going to be an improved patient experience. If we can get a preview to the patient of how the case is going to look like on his face or on her face, it's also going to improve their experience. So that's a quick summary of what we think are the main benefits. We could get more in details, but I think that's a good summary of why you should be thinking about going digital design.
That is correct. So for the next episode, we're gonna dive into more of the designing and the options, and what does it look like? Like, what do you need? What is the learning curve? So in the next episode, we're going to perhaps even do a little live demonstration of a design, what it looks like in real life. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you guys are enjoying this session. We're trying to keep it short. Please feel free to contact us, submit questions if there's any specific topic that you are, wanting to see and hear more and understand more about. Send us your questions. We're happy to answer. Make sure to, go to our website, check on the promotions that we are having currently, and yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah.